is watching the recording. Welcome to our Valentine's themed Tinkercad session, where we are going to be live designing a Valentine in Tinkercad together. And I know we have at least one full class of students. I know we have another group of homeschool students with us here today, and I can't wait to jump in and show you how you can make a simple keychain or Valentine in Tinkercad. So first things first, everyone who isn't already into Tinkercad, make sure you log into your accounts. Students, you can get a class code from your teacher. And if anyone is joining late, hasn't signed into Tinkercad, you can also just watch now and follow along later. We will be posting this to YouTube in case you miss anything and need to go back and watch it. So thanks so much for everyone who's here today. And I'm going to jump straight into Tinkercad in the next minute, but to give people just a few more seconds to log into Tinkercad, I wanted to play this cute video I found on Twitter that is just the most fun Valentine's activity I have seen that I thought folks might be interested in trying out in their classroom or at home. So the challenge here is to use cardboard and red cups to make a heart for Valentine's Day. All sorts of fun balance challenge activity that I thought I might share while everyone is working on getting logged in and ready to go in Tinkercad. All right, they did it. And that is all the time I'm going to leave for that. And I'm going to pull up my Tinkercad account and we're going to get started. So I see more folks have joined. If you aren't already logged into Tinkercad, you can just watch along or you can try and catch up. But if you are logged into Tinkercad, we're going to jump right on in. Thanks everyone for your patience as we get started. So in Tinkercad, the first thing you need to do is go to your Designs menu. That's here on the left-hand side, and you may already be in it, but I want you to click on Designs, and then under your Designs, you see this big blue button that says Create. That's going to build a whole new file for you to 3D design in. And so when I click on Create, I have three options. We're going to do the top option, the one with the cube that says 3D Design. So again, that was Design on the left-hand side, and then Create, which was the blue button, and select a 3D design. Once you've done that, you should have a screen similar to mine here, where you have a blue work plane. This is like your ground surface or your table surface in your 3D environment. So this is what we're going to be building our Valentine on today. You'll also notice you've got a silly little name in the top corner. So for my students who are comfortable with a keyboard, I just want you to put your name up there for now. So my name is Hannah. That way your teacher knows whose project is whose. So to change that name, I just clicked on the silly name it had generated and typed in my name on the keyboard. But if you're not super used to a keyboard yet, you can skip that part and focus instead on building the Valentine, and then afterwards your teacher can help you name your file. So in Tinkercad, we have a few different areas. On the right-hand side, you're going to see all these fun different shapes. And we're going to stick with mostly the basic shapes that come up by default today. But just know that you can find a whole bunch of other fun things in here as well. Next time you're doing a different project, feel free to explore a bit more. And then as I get started with this, if you need me to repeat anything, if you have any questions, just have your teacher or you put the comment right in the chat, and I will be watching it to be able to answer any questions as we go. So to add our Valentine heart, we're going to find the heart. It's brown and sort of near the bottom, and you click on it with your mouse and drag it over onto your work plane. So that will bring the object into your scene. If you are working on a touch screen or a tablet, if the drag isn't working for you, you can also click once on the heart and click again on the work plane, and that'll bring it in for you as well. Now, I don't know about you, but when I think Valentine's Day, I think pink, I think purple, I think red. I don't think brown. Brown is pretty boring. And while the color it is in the computer doesn't determine what color it's going to be if it gets 3D printed, it is more fun to look at something that's a fun color. So you see this little brown circle at the top. I'm going to click on it and I can choose a color I think is more fun or more fitting for Valentine's Day. So I'm going to go for a classic pink and make my heart pink. Again, this is just how it looks in the computer. It doesn't determine what it will look like when it's actually 3D printed. But you may not be 3D printing these. These may just live in the computer, and that's fun too. So once you have brought a heart in, just by clicking and dragging it over, you can color it by changing the circle at the top, and then you can adjust the size. So you can work with it the size it comes in, or, and if you want to zoom in, I'm just using a 3-button mouse and I'm scrolling on the scroll wheel to zoom in and out. That's how you'll move around. If I want to make it larger or smaller, I'm going to use these white squares that are around my shape. So I can click on these and drag my heart to make it tall and skinny, short and wide. I can make it bigger, make it smaller. Whatever you'd like to do, you can play with those white squares on the side to resize your heart. And if you want to make it thinner, you're going to use the white square that's sort of in the middle of the heart here, or on top of the heart if you're looking from the side. Now, if you don't have a 3-button mouse and you can't really move around your screen super easy, at the top here, you can see this cube where I can click on it or click right next to it to change my camera angle to be looking at it from the top, from the front, and so forth. So if you're going through your design and you need to change your camera angle, you can always use this cube as well. All right, so hopefully everybody has a basic heart and they've played around either making it bigger or smaller or shorter. This is up to you. It's a virtual Valentine, so the options are truly unlimited. Now, for my Valentine, I want to make sure that I put a message on it. So to add a message, we can go into another one of these basic shapes. It's a red shape on the side called text. So I'm going to click on where it says text and click again to set it on top of my heart. And it's really big right now compared to the size my heart ended up being. But that's okay, because I can resize it just the same way I did with the heart by using these white squares on the outside of my object. But before I get too far with that, what kind of Valentine says the word text? That would be a very silly Valentine. Maybe you want your Valentine to say love. Maybe you want it to say be mine. Oh, I'm in caps lock. Whatever you choose, you can type it in over here on the right-hand side where the word text was originally, and you can set up your Valentine to be whatever you want. Maybe you're making a Valentine for your mom. Maybe you're making a Valentine for your dog or your cat. So I could name mine after my cat. Whatever message you want your Valentine to say, just type it in that box right there. And again, if you want to look at it in a different color, feel free to adjust the color just like we did on the heart by clicking on the colored circle near the top. All right, so if anyone missed how I got that, I'm going to quickly do it one more time so you can see it again. To add a heart, you're going to click on the side where it has the brown heart, drag in your object. You can use these white squares on the side to adjust the size and dimensions of your heart. You can use the white square in the middle to adjust how thick it is. And you can use the circle at the top to change the color. But this only changes how it looks in the computer. And then to add text to your Valentine, look for the text object on the right-hand side and set it right on top of your heart. Where it says text in the shape box over here, that's where I'm going to change it and write whatever message I would like to write on my Valentine. And then, of course, just like I resized my heart, I want to make sure that I size my writing so that it fits on the heart as well. All right, so for anyone near a keyboard, how are we doing? Is everyone keeping up, or do I need to show anything again? Oh, I got a thumbs up. Awesome. Love to see it. All right. Thank you, Hasia. Glad to hear you all are doing well in your classroom. Okay. So now that we have a basic Valentine with a basic message, we can have fun customizing it. So this webinar started 10 minutes ago, and you already have a super simple Valentine. So at this point, it's up to you to have fun with making it what you want it to be. So a few options you can do. We can use the scribble tool over here on the side and drag that sort of into an open space on or next to our heart. And maybe I want to add, you know, a smiley face. And I can just draw in a smiley face. And whatever I draw here will be created in 3 dimensions on the bottom of my Valentine. So maybe I want to draw my own heart. Maybe I want to draw a picture. So if I did a cat or a dog, like I mentioned, I can draw in a picture of my cat or my dog. So that's what the scribble tool can do. And so you can use that to draw any sort of Valentine that you would like. You can also, if you look through some of these other basic shapes, take a look at some of these things that are rings. So the blue ring is more rounded on the edges. The orange ring is sort of flat on the top and bottom. And if I bring one of these in, this is a really good way to make my Valentine maybe into a keychain or a backpack tag. So I can add a ring to the edge of my object. And as I'm doing this, I'm always, anytime I'm working in 3 dimensions, I'm always going to be spinning around and looking at my object from different angles, making sure that my text isn't, you know, crazy tall compared to everything else because I've only been looking at it from straight on top and I didn't notice. So take a look around your object from a few different angles. If you need to adjust the scale, you can do that and make things, you know, thicker and taller using, again, that white square in the middle. So I have left a few minutes here at the end to just let you play and let you experiment. If anyone watched the video, the promo video I did of this, I added sort of a lace looking border around my heart. And so I'm going to show you how I did that, but you don't have to follow along with this part because at this point, it's up to you to find and make exactly what you want. So to make the lace border like I did in my sample video, I used this orange tube again, and I dragged it in, except I made it white so it would look more like lace, or I'll make it gray just so it shows up a little better on my screen here. And then I just made it really small. So it went sort of around the edge of my object, and I made it less thick than the heart, so it wouldn't show out the side. And then I just made a whole bunch of duplicates of this and traveled around the outside of my heart. So to create a copy of something, if you have something you like and want multiples of them, in the top of your screen, you can see there is a copy and a paste button right in the top left corner. So if you have something and you want to have multiples of it, you can use the copy and the paste buttons right up there in the top corner of your screen. So I have my object selected. I'm going to hit copy. I'm going to hit paste. And now I have a second one. And I can just keep doing this or I can use my keyboard shortcuts of Control-C and Control-V until I go all the way around my object with my sort of lace-like border. Now you don't need to watch me do all of this. I will keep an eye on the chat if anyone has a question or is wondering how to do something. I'd be happy to show you something specific. But while I wait to see if any questions come in, I'll keep copy pasting this all the way around my heart. How do you erase something? That's a great question. Let's say I decide I don't want this little smiley face anymore. There is a trash can icon in the top left, or you can just hit the delete button on your keyboard. Both of them will delete an object for you. Is there a way for the copied items to be spaced equally around the object? Yes and no. So Tinkercad has something called duplicate and repeat. So that would work really well for something linear, and I'll show you how you can do that. But when it's a heart, because it sort of is a more organic shape, it's not going to work perfectly for this. So if I have the object over here that I want to create sort of equally spaced in a line or something like that, instead of using copy and paste, I'm going to use the button next to it that looks like a whole bunch of a stack of paper. And when I click duplicate and repeat, or Control-D on my keyboard, it will flash in place. There was a little red flash around my object. And now if I slide that somewhere, it will remember the action I did to it. So now when I click that stack of papers again, it duplicates that object for me, but it also repeats the actions I did to it. So I can just keep clicking this and it keeps adding another new one in a line. All right, the rings keep going sideways. How do we move them properly? So if your rings are, I'm going to delete these. So if you mean by sideways, maybe they have gotten at an angle. There is rotational tools, so there's a chance you may have accidentally bumped the rotation tools. Those look like these double-sided arrows. I'm trying to zoom in so you can see it a little better on my screen there. So this would be a rotation that may have caused that. If the rings are moving not where you would expect them to, I would just move to make sure that you're viewing your object right from the top. So click on the top square on this view cube, and that'll help give you a top-down view so you can adjust and rearrange these little rings if you need to. Great questions, everyone. I love hearing what you are experiencing. So like this one, it moved sideways on me. It always does that when I hit copy paste. It's going to create a copy of it a little bit over to the side. So I just grab it from the side and then move it to where I want it to be. So that might be what you're experiencing as well. And that's just how copy paste works in Tinkercad, simply because that way you know that there's another object and it doesn't get hidden behind the first one. But yeah, as I'm coming over here to the other side of my object, them moving over is a little bit in the way because they get hiding behind my heart. So if that's what you are seeing, you can always copy one from the other side. So I can copy one on my right-hand side and then drag it over to the left. So you've always got a lot of different options as to how you might do this, especially if you're noticing that, you know, it's going in a place you weren't expecting or it's doing something a little different. How are everybody's Valentines coming together? We are just about at the end of our 20 minutes, so I want to make sure we are all in a good place with a fun Valentine. Awesome, I see someone posted looking good. So once you have everything all together and you're happy with your Valentine, and if you're not to that point yet, that's okay, you can do this later. Click and drag a big square all over your objects. This is just using the regular button on my mouse, and that'll grab everything in my scene. Or you can also do Control A on your keyboard to select it all. But once I have everything selected by clicking and dragging a big box over it all, I can click on this button right up here to group it together, and it's going to make it all one color. And that's what we do if you're going to 3D print it. But if you're not 3D printing it, you can leave it just the way it is and take a picture and share it with anyone that way. But if I click group, it will now merge it all into one color. And as a teacher now, I can take these Valentines, send them to my 3D printer, and actually create a physical object of this Valentine. Now, students, keep designing, keep working away. Teachers, if you have a 3D printer and you're looking to print your students' designs, there's a couple different things you can do. For one, make sure they're a reasonable size. I would grab the ruler on the right-hand side and bring that in. That'll give you the object's measurements in millimeters, just to make sure you don't have something huge. And once you know the size of your objects, you can do export and download as an STL file, which just about any 3D printer should be able to go into their slicing software and actually translate it into something the 3D printer can read. Or if you are a Robo user and have RoboCloud, you can click 3D print and actually send it by clicking on the Robo logo straight to RoboCloud, where it will be added to your models for printing. And our YouTube page has loads of how-to videos on how to use RoboCloud and print things right from here. So that's just a quick intro to that. I would use the how-to videos for a longer intro on how you would get these printed. But if you are choosing to 3D print them, we would absolutely love to see what you created. Please, message us or tag us on our social media sites. But we always love to see what folks are doing. So just a few final notes for STEM Wednesdays. This is all part of the Mimeo STEM offering, these weekly things normally directed at teachers, today directed at students as well. And we hope you join us next week as Evan leads a STEM Wednesday all about cultivating caretakers and integrating the Mimeo STEM products with healthcare education. So if that's something of interest to you, join us. You can sign up the same place you did for this one using the link, which I'm going to drop in the chat. Thank you all so much for attending. I'll stick around for questions, but I'm just so glad you all were able to join today, and I hope we get a chance to see some of what you've created. Look to tag us at MimeoSTEM or at Boxlight on various social media platforms. You have a great day too, Doug. You're welcome. Bye all.